inside a well, life can get tangled. Might the money. Might the money. Might the money. I'm making money, Mike the.
Welcome back to Mic'd Up Money, the radio show and podcast where every week we talk about real money moves. And this week we'll be talking about the mentality of a leader. So let's go ahead and dive in. How do you personally define a true leader?
I would personally define the true leader as somebody that first of all listens, because you cannot be a leader unless you listen. And if you think you know everything, there's no way you have any type of leadership qualities, because that means you can't be told nothing. I told y'all how my attitude was gonna be today. Look, I ain't got time, baby.
Well, when you talk about leader, it's a construct, and a lot of times people do not get it. You have somebody who's supposed to be the legitimate leader, and then you have somebody who's the actual leader. Because I learned from leadership class, I can lead without being in charge, because I have the qualities and I have the tactics and I have the demeanor to do it.
Okay, so it's fairly obvious you don't necessarily have to have the title to take upon the role, correct?
That's correct.
Yeah, and I think that also would bring up something different too, because when you say you don't necessarily have to be in charge to be a leader, you got people that's in leadership roles that really shouldn't be leaders to begin with, that's playing that role because they feel like they have to. And I'm gonna look to the camera because he said they can't. So the people that's doing it, sit down somewhere because you're really annoying. Anyway, we can move on. Sorry.
Well, it always goes to if I have to tell you I'm the leader, I'm not the leader.
Exactly.
Right.
It should just show through your actions, right?
Right. I definitely agree with that. I feel like it's one of those situations to where, like, when people, what they say, people look real good on paper, but when you bring them into actually, like, put them in action in person, it's a whole different ball game.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Some people just meant to be followers. I mean, I'm reminded of the test we took, and it was like some people are better in like the supportive roles, some people are better in the dominant roles, some people are better in the cautious roles. So it just depends on what your qualities are and what you want to do.
Well, since I am a doubt leader,
I
do have a book coming out called Business Brilliance.
What that's about?
And it's about mastering yourself to be the best version of yourself so that you can be a leader. A lot of times when I took a leadership class at the University of Memphis, the first thing I realized was I have to master myself first before I can lead others. And a lot of times we talk about business brilliance. A lot of people cannot master themselves. So if you cannot master yourself, I can control you all day without having the title.
It's hard for some people to master themselves, though, because some people don't think they need to be mastered. Like, they'll spend their whole lives thinking, okay, I'm good, I don't need to work on nothing. Baby, let me tell you something. Everybody need work in some type of area of your life. If you come up to me and be like, I'm perfect, I'll be like, you're lying.
Well, the thing I have found in business is very disturbing is I put all this money on the line and I don't run my business. Somebody else is running my business. They're telling me as the owner what they're going to do, how they're going to do it, when they're going to work, and what they're going to say and not say. Messing up my business every day, and I own this whole thing. And I be saying, like, you need to step up because you are not a leader. And I don't understand it because all your money is on the line.
So what I say to that is, if you don't spend the time trying to know yourself, really like master yourself, you'll go out into the world and the world will start telling you who you are instead of you already knowing who you are and how you should show up. When you don't know yourself and you haven't taken that time to master yourself, like you said, the world will start telling you who you are and you'll start showing up as what the world has said, and it doesn't align with what it is that you're saying that you're doing.
I can snap to that. Okay.
It's two words. Emotional intelligence.
Man, that's why I'm in therapy now, because y'all look, when you pregnant, your emotions ain't intelligent. I just gotta be honest. But I told my therapist, I said, look, I can't control it. My husband already told me I can't control my emotions. I'm all over the place. She said, we gonna work on you. I said, we should.
That's funny. So with you though, you also give the DISC assessment. You're qualified to be able to do that. So I hear you constantly mentioning like the leadership class, and she mentioned like doing an assessment to kind of show like what your attributes or your characteristics are. So in your opinion, since you're somebody who does give out that DISC assessment and has quote unquote attended a leadership class, do you think that should happen with everybody before they assume a leadership role?
I believe that you should know who you are. If you are an I, you definitely are not a leader because you want to talk and you love to talk, but you cannot lead. You need a D. So you have to hire somebody to be the D for you. If you are S, you like to work, but you don't like to lead. Okay. If you see, you too cautious. Sometimes you don't want to do anything. So that's how it needs to be. You need to know where you fit in on the bus, the energy bus.
Yeah. Well, I think these were all great inputs, especially mine. Just saying. We're going to go ahead and move into the next segment.
Welcome back to Mic'd Up Money here on our weekly episode where we are talking about the mentality of a leader. Let's go ahead and talk about a little bit of the leadership mindset and management versus management mentality. So what's one behavior that separates a leader from a manager?
Well, a leader has the vision.
Okay.
They know exactly what they're supposed to be doing at all times, and they can tell you where you're supposed to be going. A manager is a person who received the vision and who can do the execution. And a lot of times, the leader can manage, but they may not be the best manager because they may get too abrasive. Because they get frustrated because they know exactly what they want to do. Now, the manager is usually asked on the DISC assessment. They steady, it's like, we need to get this done. We got to get this done. And that's what they do.
Dang, you talking bad about me. Dang, like that just made me realize something. I was like, dang, I'm more a leader than I am a manager because I had a vision and I want to go forth. But then I get so caught up in the vision and how I want to go that when I put certain people in certain places, they like, can I do my job?
So you're a micromanager.
I am. It's so bad.
Okay. Well, you just had a revelation, so you can make that adjustment. So now even as you being a business owner as well, you may need to hire you a CEO. You might not be the person that need to be in the front like that.
Just hurt my feelings a little bit. That's another topic to talk about in therapy this week.
Well, see, the thing about micromanagement, we shifting there, is I feel like Prince. If I had to go play your part, you fired already.
Yeah, I can agree with you.
Because if I hire you to do a certain thing, that's the thing I want you to do.
I can agree with that to a certain extent because it's kind of like a double-edged sword a little bit because, yes, if I hire you to do something, I'm expecting you to show up as the expert that you advertise yourself to be and actually do that. But also, too, you also have some people who micromanage to the point to where they won't let people show up in their own brilliance, realizing that they hired them to do something as well, too.
Like they too controlling is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
them A types.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not like that. Let's not get on that like that. But I do understand what you're saying. Okay, Prince, we know you the best, but like they okay. Let them do their job.
Not with the type of salary they making.
I'm fired.
Oh no.
Now, let me give you a real business example. Okay. I was working for this governmental entity, and these employees had ran off multiple supervisors. Okay, they got me fresh off the street, and they thought they was going to do the same thing to me that they did to their coworker that was promoted. They thought they was going to have me doing the applications. They thought they was going to have me doing their work. I informed them, hey, my job is the supervisor. I make sure that you do that work.
Right.
I'm not doing that work. And the minute you don't do that work that you was hired for, I'm getting rid of you.
Bye.
My job is to make sure you do the work. And a lot of times people lose sight because, yes, I will go in there and do some of the work, but that's not a reality. That's emergency. But when you don't do your work and you have no reason not to do your work, I'm not going to micromanage you. I'm just going to get you out of there.
That is why I work in my office by myself and I close my door when I don't want to be bothered and there's nobody under me. Well, it's people under me, but they don't directly report to me. People over me that I directly report to. I like my Peace.
Okay, so with that being said, in your experience, how does leadership affect morale and productivity?
Honestly, if you don't have I can just use all my previous work examples. When I worked in fast food, we had a manager that was smoking, taking breaks 24/7, never managed us. We did what we wanted to do. Had to watch myself. We did what we wanted to do. But like we had a manager that was there that was like on us, making sure we got the orders out, everybody was in line. So I feel like that quote unquote manager, leader, whatever you want to call them, their attitude and their caring about the job is what drove our caring about.
So
the
it
job.
helped influence the culture of the rest of the
Yes,
employees.
yes.
Okay.
Well, you know, I worked at McDonald's. I called it loose time management. I had to take control of the situation because I worked the third shift. And I told them, I said, hey, you let this second shift off, not doing the grill, not defrosting the freezer, not scrubbing the floor, you going to be here for tonight because I'm doing it.
Right.
And if you clock me out, I'm through working. I work for money. I don't work for my health. And I help train them how to be a better manager because they realized I was going to make them do their job. And it's a lot of times, a lot of entrepreneurs, I feel sorry for them because they cannot make people do their jobs. They might need to have some sessions with you, Tanika, so you can make them do their job, help them to understand how they need to do their jobs because it's just awful.
Look, listen. You can't lead a horse. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. So
Facts.
I feel like I've done that. I do that in my work, but I have had several times where I feel like, just like you said, like they don't take advantage of that training or what they need to be able to make that as effective as it should be. So you have some folks that literally just don't want to, and I can't do nothing with it.
Yeah, that's why they had to hire somebody else to do their role because, you know.
Well, we're going to wrap up this segment and move on to the next one. These are all great points, especially Tanika's. I'm giving everybody different credits on different ones. Just
Welcome back to Mic'd Up Money. We're here with our weekly episode talking about the mentality of a leader. And we're getting ready to move into leading with integrity, humility, and consistency. So, like, what do you know? How important is self-discipline in leadership?
Well, the self-discipline is the major thing. I like Caesar approach. He used to go in with, especially if he was losing, he used to put his red cape on and go on the front line, and he used to fight with his men. And then regardless of the odds, they used to win because they felt like if Caesar would do it, I can do it too. And if he cares about me enough, I can do that too. I know there've been times where I had to actually step in and do work and to help people to realize that it can be done and it will be done. But I have to master me first to understand and not be overcome by the circumstances.
So do you think it was solely just you helping them to get them to see that it could be done, or is it also too, because you stepped up and you took initiative, it kind of inspires them to step up and take initiative as well too? Like, they didn't really need like the self-efficacy part of it, but it's the fact that you were willing to assist.
You lead by example.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
That's how leadership has to be. You lead by example. And a lot of times people, they're like parents, do what I say.
Not as I do.
Not as I do.
Yeah.
And so you have to lead by example. You got to show people that this is the reason we're here. This is the purpose, and you need to do it, and you can do it, and we're going to do it today.
Okay.
I think if you don't have self-discipline, you can't be a leader, because self-discipline is just what is it? It goes against procrastination. It goes against excuses. It goes against all of those things that make up a bad leader in that sense. So I think I feel like if I wasn't disciplined and I didn't get my work done and I wasn't able to, I can't tell somebody else to do it. You know what I mean? That's what I mean when I think about self-discipline. Like, that means you ain't got no control. So why are you even in a leadership position to begin with? Like, unless you just standing in as the face of something and somebody else is running the show.
I paid for it. That's why I'm leading it. I paid the cost to be
But
the
you're
boss.
not no leader. So you ain't, like I said, if you don't have self-discipline, you can't be a leader.
I paid the cost to be the boss.
Look, I ain't got time. I told you.
But unfortunately, in entrepreneurship, they pay the cost to be the boss.
Right.
And they should not be a leader. And that's why they're losing money.
Okay. I got you.
They need some help.
Yeah.
They need a consultation
Okay.
at MikeTheMoney.com.
Yeah, I heard you get this. Slide that in there. I got you.
So how can leaders stay humble while being confident? I have mixed feelings about this, but I'm gonna let y'all go.
I mean, I stay humble personally. Not all the time, Lord forgive me. By reading the Bible, and I just look at, I'll use Jesus as my example. Like, I'm like, what would Jesus do in this situation? Would he go off on that person and tell them about themselves, tell them how wrong they is, or would he love them, show care towards them, and correct them in love?
But he also flipped tables, so
Okay, so
Well,
I'm just saying.
Right,
I'm just saying.
well, I'm so
she just kind of
infused.
shot me in the foot there.
I am so infused with servant leadership.
Okay.
I just don't understand how you cannot be humble as a servant leader.
Okay.
If my job is to make sure I take care of my team first,
Okay.
so I can get the work done. If I'm not taking care of my team, I cannot get the work done. And so when people have problems, when they have issues, and they need encouragement, my job is to make sure I do those roles for them. And so I can't be arrogant, but
Okay.
I'm not going to tell you I'm the leader.
But arrogance is different than confidence, though. I think, right?
Most
Okay,
definitely.
that was something. What you think, Tanika?
Most definitely. So when we add the humble word in there, especially when it comes to women in leadership roles, it makes me itch.
Why?
Because just as an example,
That
I
sounds
literally
sexist.
just read a post on LinkedIn probably 2 days ago about this lady who is in a nice corporate role. She had just had a meeting with, I guess, like stakeholders and upper management about a project or something, and she had brought to the table an idea. So the idea that she brought at the time, because she brought it, it's too much. Nobody's going to be willing to adapt to that. We don't really want to try to, invest or really make people try to change or whatever. But later, her colleague that does not look like her took her idea, sent the idea to upper level management via email, accidentally copied her on the email. She found out, responded to the email and said, "Oh, is this the same strategy that you're presenting to them that you told me that they would not adapt to, but yet they just told you that they absolutely loved it after you presented it?" And so the CEO of the company calls her and says, "We need people like you that can see around the corner, not just down the street," basically. And they basically said, "We want to offer you his position."
Yeah. As well as she deserves.
But hold on, because somebody would have heard that and they would have got super excited, right? So she said, "I don't want his position."
Why?
$127,000 a year. She said, "Instead of giving me the position, you can pay this invoice for my consulting company for $275,000, and they paid it in 24 hours.
Oh, look at that. That girl's smart.
Thank you.
Hey, I like that.
So
Okay.
in terms of humbleness, no, because times like that, I believe people get humbleness and humility mixed up. When we look at it biblically, and I actually kind of just learned this myself, because humble is kind of like one of those sticky words to me, especially like when we're in a professional space. Humility is, from what I'm understanding from a Christian perspective, is acknowledging that God is righteousness. So being humble can get you caught up in situations that you don't want to be in, which a lot of women end up in roles and responsibilities and things that they don't want to be in because the world told them they need to be humble and they need to be silent. You see what I'm saying?
We could do a whole episode on that.
A whole episode on that.
But we gotta move on. That just sparked something in my head. I was just like, Yeah, we're gonna go on to the next segment because that can be a whole episode.
You can.
He might actually do one on that. Keep that in the back of my head.
Welcome back to Mic'd Up Money. We're here with your weekly episode discussing the mentality of a leader, and we're going to get ready to talk about emotional intelligence. So, what role, since you brought it up, what role does emotional intelligence play in business success?
Self-awareness and self-management are the two key roles.
Okay.
I've seen professionals throwing tantrums like babies in the workplace,
It's funny.
actually throwing pencils down and having fits.
Yeah.
And then I seen people that do not have a clue and cannot read the room. Just like this, you gave their last example, how somebody gave an example and someone gave an idea and someone took it. I would be on a conference call sometimes with people. I would say something. And because of my color, and then somebody else say the same thing I just said. And then they would say, oh, that's a great idea. On the same conference call, and people had to say, did Ephraim just say that?
Yeah, they funny.
But the thing about it is, if I have less emotional intelligence and I get all that emotional
Yeah.
and angry,
It's going to be different.
I fall into a stereotype
Yep.
of the angry black man.
And it's a whole nother podcast.
And that's why I love the way that she responded, because she didn't get angry. She just stood her ground.
Yeah.
Where they were expecting her to shrink, she said she wasn't, and she challenged them. Because now I'm going to charge you for both messing up and acting like you didn't see me.
Right.
And you got to pay for it because I presented it. You know what I'm saying? So I liked how she handled it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the emotional intelligence, especially in like the workplace, not in an entrepreneurial setting, it can be the difference between having your job and not having your job.
Literally.
I mean, because I was in that experience. A woman, I started a company, intern, got the position. Then a woman came in. They was supposed to be in a higher position than me, not the same color as me. Then I had to train her. And it didn't go well.
Yeah.
Because when I'm fresh out of college, there's just a bunch of stuff that played into it. But
Yeah.
the main reason was because she was spreading rumors. She had 20 years senior on me, blonde, different color lady, and she was trying to get me fired.
Yeah.
And I broke down because I was like, oh my God. And God's favor, she ended up getting fired herself, but that's another story. But I'm telling you, I had to grow so much, and my upper boss, like that's over everybody, said, you have really grown, because he was like, ain't no way somebody could go through that and still be here, because they would have took the racial thing and left. Like, so I think it could have been worse than what it was, but I feel like if I would have lashed out on that lady, like I said I was gonna do, I would have been a stereotype, and I probably would have lost my job.
Let me jump in because I want to talk about business. 35 deep in business experience.
Okay.
And I've seen entrepreneurs lose opportunities because they don't know how to talk to people. You give them good advice. They take the opposite because they're friends who do not have degrees or anything,
businesses.
Did they take that?
and take their advice for it. And so,
You been there?
yeah, they have no self-awareness.
Right.
It's like if someone came and slapped them, they would say it was Mickey Mouse instead of a business opportunity because they could not see it. They cannot see none of it. And that's why emotional intelligence is so much and vital as an entrepreneur, because you need to be able to read the room, see the opportunities, and control yourself to take advantage of them.
No, seriously. And even in both spaces, I think one of the things that was so shocking to me when I got my first corporate job was that I felt like, first of all, I had a culture shock because the only corporate setting I really had ever seen was on TV.
Yeah.
So when I stepped into the corporate role, I was like, okay, this is nothing like what I've seen on TV.
Not like
and
The
my
Office.
parents literally did not prepare me for this moment, because I have one parent that's never worked in corporate, and I have another parent that has, but my parents are divorced. So like I never got like, okay, well, this is what this really looks like and how you should handle things, because people will test you and mistreat you and mishandle you and do things that you think are just terrible, because you think people should have just good morals and basic home training and be respectful, and they just don't do those types of things when you get in corporate. It's literally like all or nothing. It's same in business, like all or nothing. You have to learn how to advocate for yourself, how to stand your ground, how to not let everything shake you up, and you know, kick you off your stance, So it's things that I wish I had been taught entering into that environment that I just never got exposed to. And I had to learn, just like Jasmine, the hard way. Because I literally remember like starting as a temp at my last real corporate job, and the general manager, of course, did not look like me, but literally him walking past me and saying, "Oh, we're going to fire you as soon as this project is done. Like, we don't want you to stay here." And I was like, "Hi, it's day 2, and good morning to you too."
Exactly.
Like, what are you even talking about right now?
I always hate that.
Well, I thank God that I went to the University of Memphis, and I had Dean Arthur Holman. He told me when I first walked in the doors that college is a microcosm of the world, and you're going to have the good, the bad, and the ugly. And that experience has really shaped my whole work life experience, because I had to do so much advocating, so much fighting, got stabbed in the back, had to deal with those feelings and the emotions. And, and I'm so glad I went to that type of experience, because at that time, the University of Memphis was a majority school, and they said, "Why are you going there? Why don't you go to one of those HBCUs?" I said, "No, I want to go where the real work is. I want to have the real experience," and I had the real experience, and it has really helped me.
Yeah. But yeah, these are all great points, but unfortunately we got to move to the next segment because we can talk about that all day too. And I thank you for your input on this. I told you to give you credit if
Welcome back to Mic'd Up Money, the radio show and podcast. We're here with your weekly episode talking about the mentality of a leader, and we're just going to go ahead and discuss leadership in real life. So you kind of left us on a good tip since you were getting into leadership in real life. So how does leadership show up outside of business, at home, or in the community? So you were kind of already talking about it. You want to continue what you were sharing about going to the good U of M?
this school in the nation just there.
I wanted to have a real life experience, and I wanted to be able to experience life from how it's supposed to be. I was in student leadership for most of my years while I was in college. I was in the BSA, Black Student Association, the Student Activity Council, the SGA, Student Government Association, and I was in all of that. But the thing I found out is a true leader is someone who has really worked on themselves.
Yeah.
And they know themselves, and they can control themselves. And when I'm going out into the workplace, I see few leaders, because there are some people who are nice and polished. They can say a good thing, but behind the scenes, they're cussing, they talking bad in memos, they doing all this other stuff. They don't have very good skills, personal skills at all. But the thing I find out is, if you're a good leader, you know how to act on the inside and outside, and who you are is authentic. And that's the thing that needs to be addressed.
Yeah. I feel like you show up in leadership. I'll talk to the home part of it. Because I got married back in March, and got a stepkid, and he thought he was gonna run my house, and he ain't running nothing. But yeah, so I feel like it to me, leadership. If you're a leader and you want to train leaders, and you want to be the leader of your family, quote unquote, I feel like it's gonna start at the house, like teaching basic morals, like I had to start with him, yes ma'am and no ma'am. This is how you do this. This is how you do that. I had to remind him, hey, you a young black man, so you already gonna have a lot of stuff against you. You can't be acting like that. I know you go to school with people that don't look like you, but you can't act like that all the time, because they will put you in a bucket so quick, and they will try to kick you out. So I think leadership, it really starts with the basic morals and teachings of whatever family dynamic that you have, and community-wise, somebody else can talk to them.
I mean, for me, because I went to the University of Memphis too, but for me, I was in a lot of the different organizations, but I was only active in a few. Actually got awarded Mentor of the Year for one of the organizations 1 year, because I had 2 mentees and I was very active with them, but
y'all good.
I never really got the opportunity to like assume a lot of leadership roles, because most of my time from high school and all the way through college, I was super stressed. So I had a lot of confidence issues, a lot of clarity issues. I just didn't have the emotional intelligence or mental capacity to really take on a lot other than class. So I didn't really get the opportunity that I think a lot of people that did go to college who tried to take advantage of stuff like that got. Because I was just too focused on, what was going on in terms of my home life and stuff like that. So now, since I've gotten older, being involved on like nonprofit boards and connecting with other organizations here and assuming like leadership roles or just leading as being example, like you said, I know I have built a community of my own just with Cultivate that a lot of people look up to me. A lot of people like kind of look to me to like kind of lead a charge, like they get inspired and stuff like that. So I never really realized how much me working the way that I work inspires so many other people. And I never really realized I had the level of influence that I have now until like this year. So I've been really cognizant of how that helps me show up as a leader and how I show up in the community and what I bring back to my audience and what I expose them to. So that's kind of like what it looks like for me, but I ain't really get like to do the college thing like that.
I was gonna say, like, look, you know how hard it is for an introvert to be a leader? Like, I'm an introvert, bro. Like,
Same.
It's so hard. It's like I get forced into leadership
Me too.
roles. Like I told you, I like sit in my office and I like close my door and I don't want to be bothered. Like, but people like, oh, you'll be great doing that. Says who?
Yeah.
Who told you that I was? Man, I be at home. I be like, babe, they said I gotta do this, that, and the third, and I ain't want to do it. He was just like, Jay, I'm just doing. So being an introvert in leadership, we need to have a whole.
It helps develop you though. It really does. 'Cause
I just don't see it. I just don't see it.
See what?
Okay.
for either one of us,
Okay, this is my position, and I tell it to my children all the time. Okay, if I got to be supervised, do I want to be the supervisor or the supervised? And especially if the supervisor don't know what they're doing and don't have a clue on how to get to where we need to go.
That's when you be lazy and just let them, put you
No.
into the-
I'd
I'm kidding,
rather
I'm kidding.
be the supervisor than to be the supervised. It just can't help it. It's just in me.
I mean, I get it. And I know this is where I'm supposed to be. Like, I know that is my part of my life's mission is to be a leader and to be in the forefront. I've accepted that now because even when I just try not to, I'm always, like you said, I'm pushed. Somebody's like, oh, Tanika can do it. And I'm like, can she? It ain't even about can she. It's like, does she want to? Like, it's really more so about that. But,
different
you know,
projects I'm
I
working
just
on,
accept
bro.
it because I understand that that's where my life's purpose work is.
I'm so glad you feel that way, but this episode is over. We need to start wrapping it up.
Yeah, let's wrap up this segment. That's another something else I gotta talk about in therapy too. Thank you.
Welcome back to Mike the Money. We're getting ready to close out our episode on the mentality of a leader. So if you would like to follow us and connect with us or share what you learned from this show today, you can follow us across all socials at Mike the Money, MICDUPMONEY, and let us know what you thought, what your takeaways were, and what you would like to see more of. In addition to that, if you heard something that you think could help you, or if you need assistance with something, we invite you to go to our website, www.mikedupmoney.com, to book your consultation with either of the three experts that are here and get your journey started on building a better mentality as a leader.
Also, we have the $12.99 Next Money. Hold on for a second.
Keep going. No, 'cause we
Okay.
almost done.
The Next Level Playbook for $12.99. So we need to, if you want to also connect with us, get our tools, you need to go to Mike the Money and select that you want to get that particular tool so you can know how to operate your business from 3 different perspectives.
And that will wrap us up. See you next week.
That's showing.